Good morning. Well, I spent the night last night here in the village of Alrawas. I think that's how you say it. I'm going to have to ask a local to find out for sure. Apparently the village I stayed at last night was called Erawas. You miss out the L completely. I am going to aim to get through Fradley Junction this morning. Even though it's still quite early at the moment, quite a lot of boats have gone past, probably about 5. One really early, sort of about 5:30, which is quite early for narrowboaters. And there's no time limit on when you can travel. You can travel all the way through the night if you like. It's a bit like driving on a motorway or a road. There's no time restrictions. You just got to be aware of noise and how fast you're going. Like I'm going at tick over and it's not causing any wake, and that's really, especially early in the morning, that's really what you should be doing, because otherwise people will not only get out of their boat angry, they will get out of their boat angry and tired, which is what you don't want.
I left the village of Erawas and headed southeast in a relatively straight line to the 5 locks at Fradley Junction. I stopped here for a hot drink and carried on towards Handsacre and then the larger town of Rugeley. Armitage Shanks has a factory here where they manufacture bathroom fixtures right next to the Trent Mersey Canal. Once through the town, I make a tight right turn over Bringley Bank Aqueduct and more up just before Wolseley Bridge.
There's a long stretch of canal before Common Lock, and I can see lots of activity at the lock. A boat has just come out of the lock, and it's only a narrow lock, so it won't take very long to fill, but I don't know if they will wait for me or if they will see if they can get another boat through, down and out before I get there. Yeah, they are squeezing another boat through, so I've just slowed down a bit. No hassle. I don't want to stress them out by going right up to the lock. And I can see the other boat is gradually going down in the lock. So by the time I get there, hopefully they will have been down enough, open the gates and out they come, and in I go. There are volunteers on all 3 locks at Fradley, which is fantastic. You can't come through Fradley Junction without stopping off at the cafe here. Really early in the mornings, it's great for breakfasts. Molly, sit. I don't know if this is the same for other dogs, but Molly is very, very affectionate. Whenever she lies down, she has to be physically touching me in some way, either a leg or a bit of a back. If heaven forbid I move my leg, she sort of shuffles over so she's got some sort of contact. And she's doing it right now. Well, that was a very nice coffee at Fradley Junction, nice break. And now it's time to continue sort of south and then west and then south again. Ugh. If I'm going up a narrow lock like this on my own, I usually butt the front of the boat up against the plate on the gate, and I just have the boat in slight tick over so it keeps it nudged up against the gate. Whenever I'm going through and other people are putting me through the lock, I tend to do the opposite and nudge up against the gate at the back or the stern and keep the boat ever so slightly in reverse, so therefore they can just open the paddles as much as they like and let lots of water gush in, and it speeds us through the lock quicker. So if I turn left here, it goes onto the Coventry Canal, which leads down through Tamworth and the bottom of the Ashby Canal and the Oxford Canal, and obviously down to Coventry. But today I'm carrying straight on. Well, that was Fradley Junction. I think realistically that's probably the busiest that junction has ever been for me to go through. Some people have said that there's anything up to 3 hours wait sometimes, but luckily I only had one boat to wait for and I just helped them through, and that was fine. But I'm through now, and the rain has held off. The clouds around do look like a bit of rain, but I don't think it's going to today, so hopefully I'll have a really nice day. Oh dear, I've just been told off by an angry boater. Remember, I'm solo going through a lock, and when you have a volunteer, sometimes you offer to get off the boat and the volunteer says no, stay on it because it speeds things up. This one I didn't get off, and because I didn't, the boater that was coming down shouted at me. Now there were two on his boat, so he's used to dealing with the lock whilst the other person navigates. With me, I have to get up on the roof, get up out of the lock to help, and that just slows everything down. Now, yes, he was right. I didn't help the lock keeper in this instance, and I did apologise, but it's a tough call to make sometimes. Sometimes you do it, and everyone's annoyed that you're slowing them down because you're up and down ladders and you're on your own, and then sometimes you get up there and the lock keeper says, stay down on the boat. So, anyway. In a couple of videos ago, a couple of people asked me about Molly and did she have a bed or a blanket to lie down on? Well, funny you should say that, because I've gone through all of those scenarios. She's had her bed out here, she's had a blanket to lie on, and every single time she pushes it aside and lies on the wooden or metal floor. I don't know if it's because of the warmth from the engine below, but she prefers that rather than lying on her blanket. It's even got to the extent of once she sort of pushed her blanket into the canal, which I obviously then had to fish out. But I've tried all that. She likes sleeping on the hard surface. At bridge 61A, it gets really, really narrow, and you have to sort of walk ahead to see if there's anyone coming in the opposite direction, because there's a bit of a tight turn and there's only enough space for one boat. It feels a bit like a tunnel. Remember the television aerial I had as well as the Wi-Fi aerial, or the cellular mobile reception aerial? Lots of people were saying that because the TV aerial was at the top and the Wi-Fi was further down the pole would cause interference and not let it work as much. I've changed all of that around. I did have the TV aerial on the pole, but the pole became quite heavy, and because the TV aerial was quite large, it got caught under a bridge and nearly speared me whilst I was travelling just north of Oxford. So I took the TV aerial off, and it was all bent and twisted because it got stuck under the bridge. So that's gone. I've gone back to my Max View aerial, which has got an amplifier with it, and it works really nicely. And all I've got on the pole now to make it nice and light is the mobile phone reception aerial, or the Wi-Fi aerial as I call it. I have just done a speed check. I do it every time I moor up just to see if there's going to be problems or not, because obviously I need to get online, and the internet speeds both up and down here are fantastic. And that is good because tomorrow and the next day it's supposed to be very heavy rain, and I don't want to travel, so I'm going to be busy editing the next vlog. It's not like you to bark. So whilst Molly runs up and down the towpath and enjoys the summer evening, I'm going to say hello to the wildlife, and until next time, I'll see you later. You can't just push in whilst I'm saying hello to the ducklings.